ate noodles with no packet. Cereal with the can.
$30 million for a record deal is serious, bruv. Swear down you get me.
Just a few months ago, Esdeekid was a broke nobody, grown up in the rough council estate of Liverpool. Well now,
in the bits, bruv.
He's one of the most streamed rappers on the planet, touring the world, collaborating with Hollywood celebrities, and signing a record deal reportedly worth $30 million, the biggest ever for a UK artist.
Bomba clock! 30 million? Oh my god. That's crazy. But hold up. Let me educate you guys on what a record deal really is. A record deal is a loan from the labels. They say, this kid has this much hype. This is what your hype is worth. 30 million. You take this $30 million loan and you create your art with it. Okay? And then they recoup their 30 million. If you can't recoup their 30 million, you are indebted to the record label for life. So, Esdeekid better hope that he can make $30 million for the labels. All right, let's go.
And most of you are probably asking, who even is Esdeekid? Where did he come from? And how did he take over the internet overnight? Esdeekid grew up in the city of Liverpool, part of Merseyside in the northwest of England. This is where he picked up his famously harsh accent known as Scouse, a distinctive dialect that comes from Liverpool's unique mix of Irish, Welsh and other cultural influences.
And a part of the rolling, and a part of the chord, and a part of the Roman. I'm popping the horse like I'm chopping a Roman. Anyway, you see me, I'm Roman. Sorry. Sorry. That's my Esdeekid impression.
Why are you laughing for? What, Chris, why are you laughing for? Why are you laughing for? I'm being serious. I'm being serious. No, you see, I'm talking facts here. I don't do if, buts and maybe.
I'm taking serious. I'm taking serious. In a scotch. I'm becoming a scotch. I got me a scotch. I'm taking serious. Sorry, it's almost like Irish meets like the British accent. It's interesting.
I do absolute, and you know, like if your aunt had balls, she'd be your uncle, but she doesn't, so she's not. Do you know what I'm trying to say?
With SD himself claiming he's not British, he's a Scouser. Liverpool is also world famous for its music scene, being the birthplace of the Beatles, the best-selling band of all time, with over 600 million records sold worldwide. From what I can find, SD grew up in a rougher working-class background, living in a council estate with a single mother, something he's openly talked about on his Twitter. He's called himself a council house rat and wrote, "Did orders from a council estate in Liverpool, all built off scraps, mate." For those who don't know, a council estate is basically like government housing in the UK. Large blocks of
the bits, bruv, the projects in it, huh? You Scouser, you council rat in it, bruv. He's in the blocks. He's in them Romanian Eastern blocks, but not Romania, Britain tank in it, bruv. Let's go.
Homes or flats built by the local council to provide affordable living for working class families. Growing up in that environment often comes with its challenges, and SD has been open about how that shaped him. In one of his biggest songs, Phantom, he said, "I'm a scumbag, I was raised in Liverpool slums, lad. I was broke, no joke, but I spun back." And the truth is, he's not exaggerating. Liverpool has some of the toughest crime stats in the country. The city records around 140 crimes per 1,000 people each year, way above the national average. And violent crime alone made up over 25,000 incidents in 2023. Certain inner city areas of Liverpool rank among the most deprived in England, with gang violence, stabbings and drug crime being constant problems. Merseyside police have
excuse me. In an area like this, bro, the majority of people are not getting out of this. You're a product of your environment. Most people are just gonna jump into the gang life and they're lost forever. So shout out to Esdeekid for being able to escape this situation and make something of himself, because rarely is that ever the case, dude. It's never a Disney story in the bits, bruv.
Even reported spikes in shootings linked to organized crime groups, and the region's drug crime rate is over 300.
First of all, how's that nigga gonna be shooting an automatic weapon in the convenience store wearing flip-flops, man? So much of that is just... Dear God.
50% higher than the national average. So when SD talks about being raised in Liverpool slums and coming up off scraps, he's reflecting a reality that a lot of kids in the city know too well, growing up surrounded by poverty, crime and the pressure to find their way out. Or in his own words on Twitter, "Sometimes I hate where I'm from, but I'll always be proud. I love my city, I will never change." With him even suggesting in some tweets he may have trouble from his upbringing. Now growing up, Esdeekid didn't have internet until around 2016-2017, so to consume music videos he would instead watch Channel 18, which during the 2000s 2010s was a Freeview channel, often showing a lot of chart music videos, countdowns, and pop culture shows. And if he wasn't doing that, he would sometimes go to his grandma's house, who did have internet. He said that music videos were how he remembered the music, which is one of the reasons he loves making videos so much. That obsession with visuals later became a core part of his identity, every song needing an image attached to it, as nearly every one of his early SoundCloud releases had a music video alongside it, with SD early in his career even shooting a couple music videos for one of his friends, Rico Ace. Growing up, SD was very into the mid-2010s SoundCloud era, Lil Peep, Lil Pump, Black Cray, and so on, with him even claiming he put his own mum onto Blade, and calling himself a Scouse Boy Rari in his number 9 freestyle. Him and Rico Ace even recreated his picture of Lil Peep and Lil Tracy at the exact same location.
Arizona, iced out boys. Yo, show them the Arizona.
Shawty, what's it?
I always said the number one export that America has is culture, bro, and capitalistic marketing products, dude. The goy slop.
Now, even though he loved the American underground rappers, his biggest icons were the Beatles, claiming they're the greatest to ever do it and wishing he got to meet John Lennon, one of the singers.
Wild.
And to finish off this segment about his childhood, it seemed like SD was an avid gamer, often talking about GTA, Black Ops, Far Cry, and CSGO in his tweets. Now, on
Yo. Is it just me, or is GTA 4 with Nico Bellic the greatest GTA still? Fight me on it. Find me on it.
Onto his music career, on the 13th of May in 2024, SD would drop his first ever song on SoundCloud, a remix to Ray Shremmurd's Black Beatles, with a music video alongside it. It's quite different to how he sounds now, even though this was just a year ago, as he's rapping at a much slower and relaxed pace. Now, even though this is the first official drop as Esdeekid on his official SoundCloud, from what I found on Reddit, he's been dropping music since 2023, under the name Jewel Spines. From my own research, Jewel Spines is just a name he used to go by, basically like an alter ego. Jewel Spines used to rap in an American accent though, with him even mentioning it on his song Mist. Young Scouse Kid make it sound like I'm from Texas. But of course, with SD blowing up because of his Scouse accent, he abandoned this. Some fans theorize that Jewel Spines isn't actually Esdeekid and it is actually his brother, as someone tried to say in these DMs. However, there is overwhelming evidence that this is in fact not true. It's also now very hard to try find any of Jewel Spines' older music or videos because anything fans post on platforms like YouTube or SoundCloud gets taken down almost immediately.
When my life no more, I went and disappeared into a...
After SD started blowing up, it seems like him and his label tried to kill off Jewel Spines and hide any evidence of it. Interestingly, despite efforts to bury the Jewel Spines era, SD recently teased a possible revival, as 2 months ago in November he made a brand new Instagram post with the caption 1981 Jewel Spines Renaissance, with this weird video, with him even teasing on his Instagram story Jewel Spines album November Instrumental Ambience, then posting on his Twitter Instrumental Ambient Album, suggesting he hasn't fully abandoned that idea.
I guess when you can't get rid of the alter ego, I guess it's kind of chirps up sometimes. Like Kanye with the car accident, and that's what caused him to be racist. Because after car accidents, racism looms in the mind, and it becomes extravagant later on as you get older. Just saying.
Identity. Maybe he's gonna make a comeback. I mean, it's not the first time we've seen an artist drop music under a different name. From the top of my head, I know xCephasx became a jazz artist, and Young Lean, he drops under Jonathan, or something like that, I can't remember exactly. One of my favorite songs that is actually on streaming platforms from Jewel Spines is him.
Similar to Mac Miller and Larry Fisher, alright? So these are similar sort of, landscapes of people having these alter egos. But it's because when you're making anything that's creative, people always want to just box you in as you're this person, you're this identity, you're that. And so they need alter egos to then be able to express themselves even further, dude. Because nobody wants to be boxed in, dude. That's lame.
Again, with Rico Ace, a very fun and catchy song. And for those who are into the Esdeekid and Jewel Spines lore, on the song Altered, released in the December of 2023, we actually get to hear Jewel Spines and Esdeekid on the same track, as he alternates between his two styles. His awful attempt at rapping in an American accent, then his natural Scouse style. And Jewel Spines is actually where he got the name Esdeekid from. If you abbreviate Jewel Spines, you get DS. Then flip that and you get SD. Add kid to the end and you get Esdeekid. Over the following months, SD would continue to drop singles on SoundCloud. Apathy, number 9 free.
So cryptic, dude. So cryptic.
Style and Gracias. Around this time, Esdeekid only had around 2,000 monthly listeners, so he was still an absolute nobody, but it didn't stop him from performing his first ever show on the 12th of July in 2024.
You know what's crazy about all of this? That it shows that a lot of young kids aren't able to keep up with the idea of consistency. Just keeping up with it regardless of what the outcome is and knowing that it's going to be successful. A lot of young cats these days, they be making stuff, making art, whatever the case might be, and they just stop. If you never stop, then you didn't give up. Okay? Somebody who does whatever he can to make it happen. A lot of y'all would be like, oh, 2,000 monthly listeners? I can't do it. I can't do it. I can't perform. I'm not big enough. I need it to be packed. Well, work for it, bro. Like my homie once said, you got to work for groupies, bro. You got to deserve them.
And it would be actually around this time that things started picking up for him. Palaces with Rico Ace, Tapped In with Sinner, and Ferragamo were the 3 tracks that made him start gaining a lot of traction around his name. Not a big name yet, but gave him the small following he needed to carry on growing. Another single he dropped around this time was Bali featuring Rico Ace, which was highlighted in Pitchfork's The Ones column, where Alfonso Pierre described it as one of the year's standout tracks, and named Esdeekid one of the year's breakout stars. But it wouldn't be until 2025 that things really took off for him. His first drop of that year was on the 6th of February, LV Sandals with Rico Ace and Fake Mink. This song was a massive hit, gaining immediate buzz. From what I can find, this is the first song Esdeekid dropped with Wraith 9, and it is the first song Wraith 9 has ever produced that dropped publicly, at least from what I can find anyways. And I mean, the rest is history, right? In just 11 months, this song would garner almost 100 million streams, with Drake himself even bringing out Fake Mink out wireless to perform it in front of 50,000 people.
I don't know much about Fake Mink, but apparently he's just getting as much traction as Esdeekid. Is that correct to say?
From what I personally remember around this time, this song took Esdeekid to that 500k monthly listener mark, which he would sit at until the summer. Also, fun fact, Fake Mink and SD have actually been working since the summer of 2024, as during that time, Fake Mink would drop 2 collaborations with SD, Slurricane and Tropical Remix, with music videos for both of these. And it would also be around the start of 2025 that SD would sign to XV Records and Lizzie Records. From what I can find, Lizzie Records is owned by UK creative Sincere Lizzie, who is also the head of black music at Atlantic Records UK, with XV Records being owned by BAMS and I think Orcs Lua, with Lua being SD's current manager, who also runs the UK underground festival / concerts Orcs London. So I'm presuming XV is under Lizzie Records and they're under some joint venture or management deal, with other UK artists such as Fimi Guerrero, Sinner, Rico Ace and Len also being signed to them. Anyways, eventually on the 30th of June, SD will drop his debut project, Rebel, 11 tracks with features from Rico Ace, Fimi Guerrero and Fake Mink. The entire tape was produced executively by Wraith 9, whilst having additional help from CPPO and Numbers Beats. The majority of the project were the relentless rage sound SD is known for, from tracks such as Phantom, Four Roars and LV Sandals.
But the sounds on these, this is what I've been saying about the UK artist scene, bro. The music scene in the UK is literally flourishing in a way that it's never flourished before. Now more than ever, the UK is on top. They're beating everybody, dude. They are number 1. The sounds, the grits, the textures in the music. It's like, it's reminiscent of when the Atlanta trap era came out and all those sounds in the Future and Young Thug and that sort of style. Now, I believe the torch is no longer in Atlanta. The music torch belongs to the UK. Fight me on it.
Was also having elements of jerk and cloud rap on Caliman and Mist. At the time though, this project barely gained any traction, and it wouldn't be until weeks later that it started taking off. Later in the summer, Esdeekid would perform at Cloud Festival in Poland.
2, 1, 2, 3, go!
Where he would link up with Yeet, who would go on to post himself listening to Esdeekid on his story, shouting him out at one of his concerts.
Esdeekid, man. Esdeekid, man.
Okay.
Okay. Even clear.
And even his manager Lua putting out a tweet hinting at a collab. We know that Yeet's next album, A Dangerous Life, is dropping soon, and I wouldn't be surprised if SD is on it. It would then be right at the end of summer when Esdeekid would properly start taking off. He was already starting to get a little bit of buzz on TikTok, but it was about to go to a whole different level. The hard-hitting beats, unique accent and catchy lines made him the perfect match for the TikTok algorithm, as it seemed like any video featuring his music was set to go viral. Whether it was white girls rapping along, or people making like football and movie edits, Esdeekid was absolutely absolutely everywhere. Slowly but surely, he became one of the hottest artists in the world. Esdeekid currently holds the top spot for both the most streamed rap song and rap album daily on Spotify, Rebel with over 7.5 million streams daily, and Phantom itself having over 2 million streams daily. It's just absolutely absurd. Even when Yeet was blowing up in 2021, he was not getting numbers like this. Eventually, 5 months after its release, Rebel debuted at the 131st position on the Billboard 200, selling 10,000 units that week, with it eventually peaking at the 60th spot a couple weeks later. With this newfound fame, it would be time for Esdeekid to stop performing in front of massive crowds. We would firstly get the Rebel UK and EU tour, with him then announcing a USA and Australia leg too. But good luck getting tickets, as there was online queues of over 12,000 people. He would also open up for Young Lean at the OVO Wembley Arena, a venue with a capacity of 12,000 people, and literally everyone knew the words.
Bro, this is the most insane, craziest come up I've ever seen for an artist, bro. Literally like this. You can almost go ahead and say, oh, he was planted, but I don't believe in industry plants, bro. Even if you plant somebody, if their music isn't hitting and resonating, it doesn't matter how much money you spend on it, bro. It's going to flop. So this young man, bro, shout out to coming out of the bits, making out of a terrible situation, and seeing the lights at the end of the tunnel, dude.
Now, if Esdeekid's career couldn't get any crazier than it already was, well, a lot of fans started theorizing that SD and the Hollywood actor Timothée Chalamet were the exact same person. The theory didn't spread because it was believable, it spread because it was entertaining. The idea that a masked UK rapper and a Hollywood star were secretly the same person was too funny, too absurd, and too online to ignore. And the fans loved it. They got to work and started putting their photos side by side, comparing facial features and building timelines, genuinely trying to see if they're the same person. They even searched through Timothy's old movies, such as The King, and saw that he's had experience with British accents before.
I've only one to give, and it is the same one I give were we not standing on the brim of a battlefield. It is the same one I'd give were we to meet in the street by chance.
And Timothy himself added more fuel to the fire, as in an interview he avoided answering any questions regarding the conspiracies.
Esdeekid, you know who Esdeekid is, the rapper?
Your fans have lost their minds and they are saying that you are Esdeekid.
Is that true?
I got no comment on that.
Oh, come on.
No, I mean,
what?
got no comment.
You've got the same eyes.
I got 2 words on that.
Go on. In your own time. 2 words.
2 words.
What's wrong with him? We've lost him. We need to reboot.
All will be revealed in due time.
Oh, stop it.
Wow, the word count's
this?
gone because of jet lag.
Well, as we all know, SD and Timothée Chalamet were going to break the internet together, as on the 19th of December, the American actor would remix SD's 4 Raws.
Whole pint that dirty, give me 10 about 30, still spit dirty, still put working, let's go, I'm still working.
But even this didn't put the rumors to bed, as fans continued making jokes, such as featuring on your own song is nuts, and questioning why we haven't seen Timothy and Esdeekid with his mask off in the same room together. Not sure if you noticed, but they actually didn't show his eyes at all in the video. I still think it's the same person. It was a really smart play for both of them. Timothy stayed silent on the rumors as he knew he could use the moment to promote his new movie, Marty Supreme, whilst Esdeekid knew this could push his name right into the mainstream spotlight. Because this wasn't a co-sign from another rapper. This was one of the biggest actors on the planet, working with a UK artist who a couple months ago was a nobody, with the video on Twitter currently sitting at over 150 million views. Absolute insanity. And just a week after this insane moment, rumors started flying about that Esdeekid had signed a $30 million deal with Capitol Records, breaking the record for a UK artist. Now, as insane as that sounds, just remember Lil Pump signed for around $30 million like 10 years ago. So with inflation and a way more established scene, I can see why he got that $30 million. And with how record deals work, well, they're not actually giving him $30 million, before the label makes double that themselves. If you didn't know, majority of record deals, they give you an upfront payment for each album.
Yes, it's a loan, guys. I explained that at the very start of the video, okay? You foodies.